The Sexy Stallion is speaking. Hello everybody and welcome to my new series called Let's Reminisce. A series of mine I have just created to look back at all of the games I have played in the past and still play now. I'll talk about the pros and cons, the people I have met, and the great connections that I have made with the game. To kick things off, the very first game I'll be covering is the very classic and underrated PlayStation 2 title, Area 51. It came out at around 2005 and I didn't start playing online until 2010, my very first online experience. And so let's get started. I'm going to read you the story of Area 51 to clear up any confusion, so let's go! The mysterious Greys have studied humanity for thousands of years. Earth's remote location in the backwaters of the galaxy made it an ideal location for the alien race to conduct research that is too dangerous to perform on any of their homeworlds. Embroiled in an interstellar war with an unknown enemy, the Greys were desperate to develop a superweapon that would ensure their survival. The natural resources and large population of Earth, combined with the human leadership's corrupt accommodations, provided the perfect facility for the Greys' biological warfare development. In 1947, a Grey research ship experienced a major malfunction resulting in a crash near Roswell, New Mexico. The United States government quickly covered up the truth, sealed off the site, and recovered a badly wounded Grey by the name of Edgar, who was transported to Area 51 for study. In the time that followed, major elements of the government were co-opted by the Illuminati, a secret organization of elitists dedicated to ruling the world from the shadows. The Illuminati used their influence to set a new secret agenda for Area 51. A major base was built over the initial laboratory that housed the crippled Edgar, and the Greys established a research facility 3 miles below the desert surface. Since then, it has served as the only secure landing site for all subsequent Grey vessels. In time, the Illuminati formed a pact with the Greys, granting them needed resources, including live humans for alien experiments in return for exclusive access to Grey alien technology. For the last 20 years, human and Grey researchers have worked in tandem to great effect, creating a creature weapon codenamed the Theta, intended for use in the distant alien conflict. One human scientist by the name of Dr. Winston Cray is working with the mysterious Edgar on perfecting a viral weapon. Cray believes that making this virus with the Theta project will yield the superweapon the Greys have long sought. Tipped off by Edgar, Dr. Cray now struggles to prevent the Greys from completing their weapon and destroying Earth. Since the Illuminati control laboratories of Area 51, Cray risks everything by calling for help. He released the virus within the subterranean sections of the base with the intention of creating chaos and distraction within the Illuminati, hoping to stall the completion of the Greys' plans to prop interference from military on the surface. The resulting infection spread to the upper sections of the base, and military commanders reacted quickly by sealing the area and calling military hazardous materials teams, also known as Hazmat. After the initial Hazmat Team Delta went missing, a second unit was dispatched. Hazmat Team Bravo must discover the fate of Team Delta and discover the source of the alien virus. I will give credit to the developers of this game for giving this entire game a very creepy and hopeless atmosphere. The deeper you go into the game, the more crazy shit gets. When you start off on the surface, things look all peaceful. When you get the game, well, when I got it, I thought I was going to go in with my teammates, get my team, and get them right out to a safe place where everyone can be happily ever after, have all the sex they want and all that stuff. But no, it doesn't happen that way. When Hazmat Team Bravo goes into, Hazmat Team Delta, when they go into Area 51, a lot of them are killed off by the Theta. Some are infected, and a lot of them are trapped within the base. When you go in, you are playing as Specialist Ethan Cole. I would recommend him as a okay protagonist. He's not very memorable and doesn't say many lines. He has a very stale voice, and the voice actor does not give him much life, so you will encounter much better protagonists, such as, I would say, Nathan Drake of the Uncharted series. And so starting off, when you go in, you notice that a lot of people are infected, from military personnel to some civilians to a lot of scientists. Those who become infected with the virus, they turn to mutants. In the very final stage, they turn to mutant leapers, though you do not encounter mutant leapers until much later into the game. When you start going in, you face a lot of mutant soldiers. These are the These are the mutant military personnel who are infected, and they still have some human ability, so that's why they fire guns at you in a very rudimentary manner. After them, you face a lot of mutant scientists. These are the ones that have very strong upper body strength, and if you have played the game on hard difficulty, a few slashes from them, you can die. So these mutants have a lust for human flesh, and they try to infect as many people as possible, because it's like a super virus, it just cannot be stopped. I would say that the storyline is very decent, though I think that it could have been a lot longer. And another thing that I didn't like about it was how they kill off all of your friends within like the first 3 levels. I mean, if you have played the game, it seems like you're going to go in there and get them right back out, and that if your teammates are going to die, it will be probably at least in the middle or toward the end. But no, I feel like the first 3 levels, they're all killed off by the mutants, you know? So it kind of sucks that you have to fight off the rest of the game by yourself to face off these great aliens who don't do much, then this dumb Theta, and then the super gay soldiers called the Dark Ops soldiers, of which I really, really hate them. Now, going back to the beginning, as in the campaign, you shoot a lot of mutants, obviously. You're also able to collect a lot of documents, and for every 5 documents you collect, you unlock a secret video. Now, I have read all the documents that I have unlocked, and a lot of them are fucked up. From human experiments to tipped off phone calls to a lot of people getting killed, and a reason why Dr. White turned against the humans and decided to join with the Illuminati. In a lot of future videos, I will post all of the secret videos and the documents at Area 51 because no one has done this. And now I'll read about the narrative because it is some really fucked up stuff. From human experiments to cow mutilations to making force fields to create humans and kill them, it is all really messed up stuff. And now, continuing with the story. You start off in the surface, you go down deeper and deeper. You notice that when you are by yourself, you get infected. That is after you meet Team Delta, but by that point they're already killed by Super Theta. When you become infected, you encounter these Dark Ops soldiers. For anyone who has played the game, the Dark Ops soldiers are this group of very annoying people. They are a combination of human and alien DNA experimentation. The very simple Dark Ops soldiers you face are they are black and blue. They come in groups of 4 to 5. They will shoot you, they will throw grenades to flush you out, and whoever they encounter in the process, they kill them. They have some sort of rivalry with the mutant leapers, so they're not friends. When you first encounter them, you'll notice that they are killing a lot of human scientists, sadly. The human scientists are begging for their life, they want to see their families, but they say, remove all witnesses, and then they kill them all off. In the hardest difficulty, these guys are such bastards. I cannot tell you how many times I have died to these guys because they flush down your health so fast, and in their melees, those are the worst part. I mean, they melee you, then you lose like near 50% of your health. 2 or 3 swipes, and then you're done. Then the most dangerous Dark Ops soldiers are the red ones. They are the leaders of the Dark Ops soldiers, and you don't face them until much later in the game. They have invincibility, and their melees are much more damaging. So, really, when you go through the game, I'll recommend that you be like a mutant so you can get through them a lot faster, because I have never gone through the entire game just using bullets. Bullets will do you good in the early levels, but as you get in deep, basically your best friends are the BBG, for anyone who has played the game, and swiping the enemy a lot. When you are getting deeper, you meet this character named Dr. Winston Cray. He used to be on the side of the aliens, but then when he realized what they were trying to do, he released the virus, causing a lot of chaos, which I already read in the beginning of this video. You meet him, and he's in a wheelchair. He's a very crippled old white man. He's not a playable character in the multiplayer, though it would have been pretty funny if he was. He helps you in trying to find an antidote for this virus, because no one has ever survived the virus to make use of their human abilities in their mutant abilities. The only person who's able to do that is you, of course, which is Ethan Cole, the protagonist and main character. When you are about to get a cure, then Winston Craig, he gets killed off. Then the Dark Ops soldiers, and then you have to kill them. Another character you encounter is obviously Edgar. He has a very creepy vibe to him. You don't meet him until later on, the level before you meet the Greys, for which you meet him, he's a very fucked up and deformed alien. The way that he communicates to you on the surface levels is through like telepathy, through these dead bodies, and he will guide you through the way. And so as you get deeper into the base, you discover a lot of secrets, a lot of personnel gets killed off, a lot of scientists. You run into some flying saucers, some cool alien technology, levitation objects, mutant spiders. I mean, all kinds of really fucked up things. And then when you wonder, it's like, what the hell are these people doing in this facility? Well, here it is. And as you go on, you will see that the gist of it is you're not going to get out of this alive. I kind of felt this feeling when I was playing the Resistance series. It felt like that the Chimera already had this war in the bag, and because this game was made by humans, obviously, they'll make it seem like there was some optimism in that you're going to win. But when in reality you win. I felt the same way within Air 51. I felt that the entire situation, it was totally hopeless. Like, you are not going to get out of this alive. You are facing a horde of mutants, and after that it gets worse. You face Dark Ops soldiers, and then you face these gray aliens. Now, the gray aliens are my favorite part of the entire game, because obviously I am a believer in aliens. And so, when you face these gray aliens, you will notice that they obviously do not talk. They talk through telepathy or telepathy, where they use their mind to control objects. And they are the ones who are responsible for this whole theta mess. One thing that I do not like about the game is that you do not encounter many Greys. And when you do, they are hiding behind these shields, and then they spawn Dark Ops soldiers at you. So I think it's kind of a pussy move. In the earlier demos of this game, the Greys, obviously, they will fire at you and they will come at you. But in the final version, it's like that they are more of some enemy that they know how to make the technology, but they have no means of using it, that they'll have someone else do their dirty work. So it kind of sucks that you do not face any Greys face to face. I mean, you know, like in a physical sense where you get to beat them up, because you don't. You just face them behind shields, and then that's it. As you go toward the game, you face two kind of thetas. You face the regular theta, which is pretty easy to kill. Then in one of the last levels, you face the super theta. The super theta is very annoying. He fires all kinds of containers at you. He is the ultimate result of Grey experimentation. The theta is the reason why that a lot of people are infected, because it spreads the virus and it is able to communicate with mutant leapers. Well, actually, all mutants in general. So it kills all these people and it infects them. So it is like very disgusting. It has no means of sexual reproduction. Its entire means is just creating parasites and infecting you. I mean, it was one of the most annoying enemies I have ever faced, and one of the worst bosses like ever. I remember that I kept dying over and over, not until I used the grenade glitch to kill it, and then like a few years later I finally realized that I could use the meson cannon to take it out. Now, speaking of the meson cannon, I'm going to talk about the weapons now of Area 51. Area 51 has a decent set of weapons. You're able to dual wield a lot of them. My favorite was the shotgun, the dual wielding shotgun, because I will say that when I was at my best with it, I will brag a bit, I was pretty hard to kill. You have to understand weapons like the assault rifle, then the sniper rifle, and the pistol. The best part of the game are the alien weapons. You have the bouncing beam, particle gun, and then which is called the BBG. Then you have the meson cannon, which is a favorite noob weapon, and then you have the like bouncing grenades. No, they're called jumping beam grenades. The BBG, you are able to fire particles at people. In the single player, you just fire at them once at Dark Ops soldiers, and if you aim it right, you'll get through the game pretty easily, even on the hardest difficulty. In multiplayer, you will get a lot of kills with this weapon if you are a good shot. The meson cannon is like the equivalent of the rocket launcher. You fire this particle, and once it hits the ground, anything within its vicinity, you have these big ass tentacles like come out, and then it takes these enemies and then it deletes them. It's like zero. It like sucks them in, and then they are nothing anymore. It's kind of like being sucked into a black hole. But in multiplayer, a good counter is that when the developers made the game, it was if you fire it near yourself, is a suicide. So you have to watch yourself at the same time while shooting at other people. I will say that I have killed a lot of people with the meson cannon as last resort. Sometimes I killed myself. The worst player I have ever met with the meson cannon was my newbie little brother. He's like 13 or 14. He will purposely fire it at his feet while we were playing 4-player offline with him, but this was on the Xbox. And he will fire at himself, and he will lose points at the same time gaining them, so he will end up with 0. So the meson cannon, excuse me, it was a very noob-friendly weapon. So if you sucked complete ass at this game, you can at least always find this weapon and get a decent amount of kills. And so moving on, I would say that the storyline, it was pretty decent. I wish it was a little bit longer and that you had a lot more allies, because too early you end up by yourself, so it can be kind of depressing, especially if you're that kind of person that likes working with AI teammates, because after your teammates are dead, you don't work with any. You're all on your own. And the deeper you get in, the worse that shit gets and the more hopeless that it just seems. Kind of like when I was playing the Resistance trilogy. And as you're going through, when you reach the ending, I would say that the ending, it sucked. It was the equivalent of Resistance 3. It was a very unsatisfying ending, and it didn't even explain everything. It just ends and that's it. That's another con that I wish that they improved on, was the length of the game and the ending of it, because the ending wasn't very satisfactory. Despite the fact that I have beaten it many times, I have discussed with many Area 51 players and my brother, of course, of what they could have done to make the game better, and a lot of people said a longer storyline, of course, more allies, and a much better ending, because it doesn't even conclude everything. It's like a buzzkill. It's like when you're watching a movie, it has a good plot, but then it ends on a bad note. I mean, that's like a pet peeve of mine, is just bad endings to a potentially good storyline that isn't expanded enough. But moving along from the storyline, I will say that the meat of this game was the multiplayer. Area 51 had a ton of maps, and it had them in a way that if you make a server, it'll go from one map to the other. It's kind of like where Killzone 2, where you have like rounds of where the action never stops. It's the same way with Area 51. You have like the typical modes of deathmatch and team deathmatch and capture the flag. These modes were very annoying because there were a lot of good people in Area 51. I would say that I was a decent shot, but I would consider the elite players of this game were the ones who mastered the sniper rifle. Those who were very good with the sniper rifle, they could dominate an entire game. They made the sniper rifle kind of unique because you can't do no scopes. It takes about 3 to 4 shots with no scope. When you have the scope on, though, 2 shots can get you a kill. Shot to the head, automatic kill. So the very best players, they are able to go through games where they have a kill death ratio of like 100 kills to like 13 deaths. They will just go on absolute rampages with the sniper rifle, popping everyone's heads off. And I know the players who are very good with the sniper rifles because I always got killed with them. I never even bothered with the sniper rifle in this game. I will say that I was a decent shot. Some games I would be lucky, but a lot of the times when I face these guys, they would just make my life completely miserable. Sometimes I was wanting to quit because they were just too good with them. The best mode, in my opinion, for Area 51 was Infection. It was very intense. The best map to play on, well, I liked all of them. My favorite map was Invader because it was based off of the gray alien level. But a common map that we used to play Infection on, anyone who has played this game, I cannot tell you how many times we have played on Bloodbath. Infection was the game to play on Bloodbath. We will spend countless hours, sometimes nights into the morning, just playing Bloodbath. No, the highest amount of players that we had was 14 players, where it was in very intense shit. You have one player start off as the mutant. They infect others and they infect other people up until there's one survivor. And so what will happen is that everybody will rush to the upper levels. Like me, Sir Dizon, and a couple other people will all hide up there camping on the upper levels. Sometimes if you time it right, you can get a meson cannon from the lower levels and carry it all the way up if you got lucky. But most people got killed in the process. We will sit up there, waiting for all these people to get infected. When all these mutants came, I will fire my meson cannon and then switch to the shotgun, because shotguns were very good at setting mutants up. Now, where the developers come in credit for this, when I was saying that the game has a very creepy vibe to it, was when you played Infection on a much larger map, like Gazebo. Gazebo was this big-ass map, and it was very creepy, because no matter how many players played Infection, when you played on Gazebo, you're most likely by yourself. And so, when the announcer keeps saying that all these people get infected, it is just a very scary feeling. You're just waiting for it, because you know you're going to get infected, but it's a matter of when the mutants are going to come. And even then, when you have a good unit of like 2 to 3, sometimes 5, 6 people, even then, one swipe, even the best players, they would kill you all within minutes. And then when it seems like you're very organized, when all the mutants come, you get scared, then you guys all disperse, then you're all by yourself. So I would say that Infection was the funnest and best mode of Area 51, and I could play for hours on that thing, and I would just never get tired. The best part, like all the glitches in the hiding spot, because sometimes in some hiding spots, it'll make it very hard to kill you, so you'll get infected by default. A very annoying trick to this game was that if you find out you're infected, if you time it right, you can kill people before you get infected, then once they respawn, they'll become mutants. I remember this one time, like Huts, before he became infected, the second before he became infected, he will fire the Meson cannon at us. It happened on like Hill King, a very popular map also, where you will hide up on the upper levels. He fired the Meson cannon, and then we all got infected, and then the game was very over, like very quickly, and so we all got mad at him. You know, that clever bastard. So speaking of Huts, I have met a lot of great players. When I first started playing this game, the very first game I remember, it was around 2 to 3 people. As time went on, I met a lot of people, and the numbers of players got extremely higher. Because certain times of the day, remember, there weren't many servers for this game when I started playing, because it's been 5 or 6 years since the game was released. And back then, there were servers every day on every list, but now there were only about, at max, 2 to 3 servers. Sometimes the servers won't even let you connect to them, so you had to be a good host. So I hosted a lot of servers, and there are a lot of good games in the process. I have met many amazing players over time. The very first clan that I became a part of was OCMC. It had like Megadeth, 190, Marcus, and Antichrist, though I think he came from RPG, but OCMC was the very first online clan that I have ever become a part of. They were very good people, and I just want to say thank you to all of them for all the good times that we had. I left that clan and joined RPG, which was a clan that was run by Huts or someone else, but by that time a lot of RPG people already left. A couple of RPG people that I ran into were like RPG Blueberry, Huts of course, let's see, Elite Sniper, something along those lines, and then there was another clan called RNC. There was a guy named Rob Zombie in another game named RNC Hunter. All of these great people, and a lot of them, they were all very good players. They will all give me a lot of headache because I was average while these guys have been playing for over 5 to 6 years, and they will own me all the time. I mean, there's another great player that I met, his name was Sir Dizelot. I became very good friends with him. The very first time that we met, we were playing at a map called Meltdown, a very small map, and we were playing Infection. He had a mic, and then there was another player around him named Nightblack, some kid with a squeaky voice, so I haven't seen him in a while. And over time we made a very good friendship, and now we're friends on PS3 and Xbox. A list of great players I've met were Frozen and Elizabeth. Lately there's a player named James who was recording Area 51 videos. I met Bradley. Let's see. Sorry for stuttering. You know, I have just met a lot of people, and I just want to say thanks for all the great times that we have had. I wish the servers were still up, but it was just by a bad coincidence that by the time I got a capture device, that I couldn't record any more Area 51 videos. Because I did it old school. Before I got a capture device, I would get like some high quality camera and place it in front of a TV screen, hoping to record all the action. And that was on my very old channel of KZM Sub-Zero. So if you want to see any old school clips of Area 51 before I got my capture device, you just go on that channel. I just want to say that for all the people I have met and all the funny times we have had, I just want to say thank you. This game is really fun. Area 51 is incredibly underrated. I have met a lot of amazing people in the process. We spent nights playing. We've had a lot of funny conversations. We would troll each other sometimes. And there was this one troll named Italian Girl. It was a person, which I think it was a guy, but he or she, whatever the hell they are, they always made sex noises. And I just want to say to you, Italian Girl, wherever you are, I want to say congratulations, and I hope you have a good time with your life. But I also want to say fuck you for making all those nasty noises, because you sort of ruined a few games with them. You were very perverted, but I would say that you were very funny. Overall, Area 51 is a very good game. I would say that its storyline was very underrated, very short, not long enough. Your friends died too early, but regardless, it was a very fun experience. I hope in the future that they revive it, and that they make an HD remake for it. Hopefully on the PS4, though I'm just gonna hold my luck. I wish the online was still up, because some company bought off the GameSpy servers, because in those days, PS2, it wasn't unified like when they made PlayStation Network. They were all held by third-party companies. So you have a lot of PS2 games that still have online. Area 51 doesn't anymore. So hopefully one day the servers get revived. If not, then sadly, you know, life goes on. I will still play the single player. As for all the players I have mentioned, all the shoutouts, Elizabeth, Sir Dies-a-Lot, Black Knight, Huts, OCMC, RPG, RNC, all of you great people, I just want to say thanks for the memories, all the good times we had, and I hope to see you more on PS3. If you are on PS3, add me, and if you game PS4, I hope to see you on PS4 then. And as for Area 51, we had a lot of great times, and I salute.
Oh yeah, and I forgot one more person. Unreal.